I'm kind of a snap-on guy, but I'll tell you what, the snap-on guy never gave me a can koozie as cool as this one. Bush. While I'm standing here in comments, I talked about the stick being so far forward, and you had to really reach down and try to grab it. Well, the reason for that is, obviously you can tell by looking at it right here, is for the cab to go down, it's got to be that far forward. So I could probably put in something temporary that when I tilt the cab, I could move it or turn it or do something like that. But for right now, I'm just going to live with it the way it was and the way every other trucker did back in the 70s. So if they could handle it, I can definitely handle it. And like I said, I want to kind of keep this thing as old school as much as I can, with a few little new school things that I like, and just things that it's going to be my truck. I want to build what I want. So yeah. So for everybody talking about extending the stick back, that's why I won't, because I can guarantee you I'll start lifting the cab one day and I'll forget that there's a extension on it and I'll damage something. So somebody should really put some oil dry on that. Okay, let's plug some hoses here. We got these hoses here all went to the fuel heater and the block heater, or not block heater, but yeah, whatever, coolant heater that was on it. Those two and these two right here. One up to here and one up to here. So I actually got, somebody should really clean up this oil. So I actually got the brass fittings to fit in there, and I got one that I can put a 90 on to fix that one. So time to make more of a mess and drain this coolant down. So let's see if the petcock opens and actually drains down. Let's see if we can save some of the new coolant that I put in there. I swear to cripes, if it wasn't me cleaning up around here, nobody'd clean up around here. For more. Get on in there. Get on. Good enough. I hate it when my hands get so dirty. Uh-oh. Oh well. Just gotta learn sometime. Well, it might not be so bad because I got a petcock right here on the lower radiator hose, so that hopefully, if that actually opens the way it should, the way it's supposed to. What is this? I'm gonna tab here. Let's see. I should be able to drain the radiator down to a manageable level and be able to get those plugs out of there without dumping a whole bunch of antifreeze all over everything, all over top of my freshly laid oil on the floor here. Okay, first I'm gonna try to break that petcock loose a little bit. And for all you people that are out there watching, yes, it is actually called a petcock. I'm not the guy that named it. You can't blame me. I don't know how they came up with that name, but it is called a petcock. And my luck is it's going to break when I turn. Oh, it turned. Okay, that's good. So it broke loose. Where did all this oil come from? Oh boy. Oh, well, that's always a good sign. Hey look, something they designed that didn't drain directly on a spring or something else. Oh, come on, except my face right there. It's getting dangerously close to that spring. Oh, it's the first time I relaxed all day. Well, luckily, for you guys, the camera died right in the middle of that, so I saved you an excruciatingly long, what sounds like urination sequence. So I'm going to let that keep running. while I try to pull some of these plugs out here, see if we're drained far enough yet. Set you guys up right here. Yeah. Done with those two. Let's move on to the front ones. After a sip of beer. Maybe that was a swallow, not a sip. When you're wrapping pipe tape, always set the pipe tape on the screw, or the fitting you're going to put it on, and rotate the fitting towards in the direction that you do to screw it in, so righty-tighty, and wrap the pipe tape around the fitting like that. What that will do will allow you to screw the fitting in without backing the pipe tape off the fitting. And my main man Lucas is coming.
Boom!
Hey, pal!
I got the marshmallows for the campfire.
You do, huh? Okay, well let me get this finished and let's go start the campfire.
Yay! See which kind of marshmallows I got?
What you got? Oh wow, those are the best kind.
Yeah. I got them from the house.
Did you?
Yeah, so we can have a fire and I can get more marshmallows.
Sweet.
We can toast the overs if you want.
Really? What if I want you to toast mine?
When I'm a grown-up, when I'm an adult, when I grow up,
Yep.
then maybe I'm going to toast my marshmallows.
I think you're gonna toast yours tonight. Hey guys, we're back again today. So I'm gonna try to get the I got the plugs in yesterday, and just let you know there's still oil on the floor from the mess. Anyways, but I'm gonna try to get the brakes set up. I mean, the brakes haven't been set up since I knocked them loose and everything like that, so I've had very little braking on my test drives and everything. But I suppose I could point it at my face. I got a different camera here that my other camera was. I don't have any batteries for my GoPro, so I'm using a cheap one here. So I'm gonna do the. I'm gonna try to get the brakes set up today. So for those of you guys who don't know how to set up air brakes, we're gonna show you how to do that today. So yeah, I'm going to try to get it set up to do that. I'm gonna get the tires all aired up. Get this thing ready to go down the road. We talked about, I drained the antifreeze yesterday. I talked about trying to save it because I put a bunch of new stuff in there, but it looks pretty cruddy, so we're just gonna, probably good time for a flush. Not always, being cheap's not always the best policy, so I think it's time to spend some moldy money and put some good antifreeze in it and just be done with it. So there we go. We'll get going on it. Always helps not to leave your 15/16 socket right underneath the cab perch. Okay, so when you set the air brakes up on a truck, you have to have air in the system because you have to take the brakes off, you have to release the brakes, and or push the yellow button in, supply air to the braking system to take the brakes off on the truck. Then what you do is you block up, well, you should block the wheel first, but you have to block the wheel so the truck doesn't roll around on you. And then you go back and you adjust them on the slack adjusters. So I'm going to go ahead and crank up the truck and try to build some air pressure. Come on, baby. There we go. Give her a few minutes to fill up some air. Go ahead and set up the brakes. I'll show you how to do it. Okay, creeper time. So we're calling to the truck here. These here are slack adjusters. Got a grease zerk here on them, and you got an adjuster right here. What this adjuster does, it has a little worm screw in it, and basically it turns back and forth, and it'll rotate the position. It'll rotate the clock position on the S-cam that engages the brakes in the brakes. One day maybe I'll do a video on the brakes, but this truck's actually got really good brakes on it. So what it does is it changes the position, so it changes where the brakes will start to apply when the brake chamber here, pushes the slack adjuster. So the way you adjust it and get them all in sync is, I'm gonna try to. So on the brakes, usually you got to break this adjuster, or the adjusting screw here. It has a little collar around it. And this one's actually loose. So what that does is it keeps the adjustment screw from turning. So what you do is you take your bolt or your wrench, 9/16 wrench, put it over the adjuster, and turn those slack adjusters back until the brake's engaged tight. So that's tight, and then what I do is I usually run them back about a quarter of a turn, quarter to a half. Along the list from here, you guys can see that. Tough with the tools I got here right now. I'll try to break this one free. I need to spin around here. That's good. If you can see the brake drums too, you'll see they'll start tightening up. Okay, so I tighten it up until she's tight, and I back it off a little more than a quarter, between a quarter and a half. The thing is, you want to have them all the same, so that's the biggest key, so they all come on at the same time. So when you look at the brake drums, you see they're about 1/8 of an inch off the brake shoes there, about 1/8 of an inch off the drum. Same thing on this side. So they should all be spaced equally, so when you apply the brakes, they all hit at the same time. Let's see if I can slide under this pumpkin. Oh boy, I'm getting fat. Okay, and you see on the front axle, you saw that the brake chambers up here, if you can see them there, those are double chamber brake chambers. That indicates that those brake chambers those have a braking chamber, and it also has a parking brake chamber on it. You see on the back, a lot of these old trucks, a lot of newer trucks will have parking brake chambers on all 4 brakes. A lot of the older ones, you'll just have them on one axle. This one's only got a braking chamber on the back and not a parking brake chamber. So when I change it out, I may just put a dual chamber on there too, just to have a little bit of better parking brake. Oh, yeah, that one's tight. That one didn't take. That one wasn't adjusted very far off when I. Okay. Yeah, this one down there. Well, adjusted brakes here. Been sitting for a while. Usually you don't have to use a punch to break these loose, but they get gummed up with grease and dirt. This thing's been sitting for so long that spin around now. This thing's been sitting for so long that it's a little unique situation there. You can see I got a whole bunch of grease on this drum here. That's obviously indicative of an axle seal going bad. So I'll probably either do that myself or maybe have the mechanic take a look at that when he's got it. Oh, going the wrong way. Okay, tight there. More. Back it off. Come back out a little bit. Lock up. Okay, our brakes are set up. Okay, last thing I want to do, and I haven't checked this on this truck yet since we pulled it out of storage and everything, and I started working on it, is I want to see if the brakes will pop off on it. So, usually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pump the brakes down low enough to the point where the yellow button's going to pop off, and that usually happens anywhere between like 20 to 45 pounds, somewhere in there, but it should pop out automatically once it gets down there. Also, the buzzer should start buzzing at about 60 pounds, or maybe it was higher, I can't remember. But let's see what happens here. Actually, I think the buzzer's already going to be on, so yeah, the buzzer will come on higher, but I want to see if the yellow button pops. Getting ready. There it popped. Popped at about 40, between 30 and 40 there. So that's about right. Works the way it should. So kind of a the system is well, system's still working the way it should after it sat for so many years. So that's kind of impressive. So won't stick in now. So good deal. Okay, so I'm going to top off the antifreeze and call it a day on this project, I think. So got some company coming over for a 6 foot apart barbecue, and yeah, kind of excited. Well, that's all for this video. It's going to try to do a little more, but it turned into a complete S show around my house. So I'm going to try to take care of that, get that cleaned up, and yeah, just got a couple little things to button up on the truck, and then we'll send it off to the mechanic. So thanks for all the subscribers and all the people, all the support, and all the people that are dropping comments and letting me know what I'm doing right and what I'm not, and all your support. I really appreciate it. So keep watching, guys. We'll have some more videos coming up. I'm hoping the polisher guy shows up here pretty soon so we can get some stuff polished and kind of start looking at some visual progress on that truck for you guys. So we'll see you in the next one. See ya.